Coming up, your college football betting trends, tracing its roots 30 years until Oscar Charles Dooley, then known as Chris Jordan, completely destroyed the reports with constantly late reports and his ego trip self-promotion. Grandmaster sports handicapper Joe Duffy with 6 college football winners for Saturday. 4 of them are Wise Guy plays, the single strongest play in the handicapping industry. It includes both the SEC Game of the Year and the SEC West Game of the Year. It's all just $17 plus a whole lot more basketball included. Joe Duffy's picks at offshoreinsiders.com. All records are against the spread. South Carolina and Florida. The Gamecocks 7-3 against teams with a winning record, but they're only 3-7 after getting more than 200 yards rushing in their previous game. 1-6 after allowing more than 200 yards rushing in their last game. The Gators 6-0 against teams with a losing record, 21-10 after getting more than 200 yards rushing in their last game. They are 1-6 at home and 0-5 after allowing less than 20 points in their previous contest. Clemson and Georgia Tech. Clemson is 9-4 after allowing less than 100 yards rushing in their last game. Meanwhile, the Yellow Jackets 8-2 following a straight-up win of more than 20 points, but they are 6-19 at home against teams with a winning road record. More Oscar-free computer trends, Ohio State and Minnesota. The Buckeyes are on a 6-1 overall run, 35-15 versus teams with a winning home record, 36-16 after getting more than 450 total yards in their past game, 55-26 inside the conference. Minnesota 9-2 in conference games, 8-2 after allowing less than 170 yards in their past game, and 4-10 after scoring more than 40 points in their last game. By the way, that is among Joe Duffy's picks portfolio at offshoreinsiders.com, the Ohio State-Minnesota game. Iowa against Illinois. Hawkeyes are 6-0 after allowing more than 40 points in their previous contest. 27-12 after getting less than 170 yards passing in their last game, and 40-18 following a straight-up loss. The Fighting Illini 19-41 after scoring less than 20 points in their last game, 16-35 after getting less than 275 yards rushing in their total yards, that is, in their previous game, less than 275 total yards, 8-20 at home against teams with a winning road record, and 7-19 after allowing more than 40 points in their last contest. Pittsburgh against North Carolina, the Panthers 23-8 following a straight-up loss. They're 10-4 against teams with a losing record, but they're on a 1-5 overall skid. The Tar Heels are 10-4 after allowing more than 40 points in the previous game, and 10-4 after allowing more than 200 yards rushing in their last game. Wake Forest against North Carolina State. NC State 9-3 at home against teams with a losing road record, 3-10 following a straight-up loss of 20 points or more, 2-8 at home. Texas Christian against Kansas. TCU 10-1 their last 11 overall, 15-6 after allowing more than 280 yards passing in their previous game. Kansas 2-12 following a straight-up win. More ATS trends. Northwestern against Notre Dame. The Wildcats 12-4 following a Vegas win. Fighting Irish are 3-7 against teams with a losing record. 0-5 after accumulating less than 100 yards rushing in their previous game. Remember, you can get the power of more than 620 sports services behind each and every selection. The Master Luck Line gives you the highest rated plays from the highest rated handicappers in their highest rated sports, and it's always at pennies on the dollar. It's at offshoreinsiders.com, www.offshoreinsiders.com. Oklahoma against Texas Tech. The Sooners 24-8 following a straight-up loss, 14-2 on the road after scoring less than 20 points in their previous contest, 8-1 after allowing more than 450 total yards in their last game. However, Oklahoma enters on a 1-4 overall skid. Texas Tech 19-6 after scoring less than 20 points in their previous game. They're 4-11 against teams with a winning record, and 2-11 at home against teams with a winning road record. Continuing with more against the spread trends. Washington at Arizona State. The Huskies are 12-4 after getting less than 170 yards passing in the last game. 3-9 following a double-digit home loss. 3-10 on the road against teams with a winning home record. Meanwhile, the Wildcats are 1-8 following a straight-up win, and they have dropped 6 straight games on grass. Nebraska against Wisconsin. The Cornhuskers 6-0 on the road. The Badgers 22-8 following an ATS win. 12-5 on field turf. All records again against the spread. Oh, the biggest game of the day. Joe Duffy's picks. SEC game of the year on this game. Mississippi State and Alabama. The Bulldogs are 10-4 overall. Crimson Tide 3-7 following an ATS win. 3-9 overall skid. Kentucky against Tennessee. Wildcats 5-17 on the road. 6-17 inside the conference. Tennessee is 3-12 after getting more than 280 yards passing in their previous game, and 2-13 after a spread win. UNLV against BYU. Rebels are 17-38 after getting less than 100 yards rushing in their last game. 15-43 on the road. 6-20 following a double-digit loss at home. BYU 7-3 against teams with a losing record, but 1-6 overall run, 0-5 on grass. Utah against Stanford. The Utes 7-1 against teams with a winning record, but they're 0-6 after allowing more than 200 yards rushing in their previous game. Stanford 10-1 after scoring less than 20 points their last game. 38-18 after allowing more than 450 total yards in their previous game. And Stanford is 29-14 on grass, by the way. That's among Joe Duffy's picks at offshoreinsiders.com. And if nobody masters these angles like Stevie Vincent does, and he is exclusively on offshoreinsiders.com. Missouri and Texas A&M. The Tigers are 8-1 on the road, 16-6 overall. Texas A&M 1-5 on grass. Louisiana State and Arkansas. Tigers are 7-3 overall run, 1-6 after accumulating less than 275 total yards in the previous game. Arkansas is 8-1 against teams with a winning record, 12-3 at home against teams with a winning road record. Florida State against Miami. Florida State 6-2 after allowing less than 100 yards rushing in the previous game. Miami 10-1 following a straight-up win of more than 20 points. They are 3-7 against teams with a winning record. Remember, all the best picks, the best premium picks at offshoreinsiders.com, www.offshoreinsiders.com.